Okay, so I literally just turned off First Take, and I'm still processing what I just witnessed because Rob Pelinka was on the show for what was supposed to be a routine interview about the Lakers' playoff positioning and their plans heading into the postseason, and somehow, some way, this man let something slip that has completely blown my mind. I'm talking about a potential acquisition that would fundamentally change everything we thought we knew about what the Lakers are building and where this franchise is headed in the final years of LeBron James' career. I'm sitting there watching like everybody else, expecting the usual front office speak about trusting the process and evaluating all options, and then Pelinka starts talking about the type of player they need to truly compete for a championship. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second, but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. But before I get into exactly what he said, and trust me, you're gonna wanna hear every single word of this because it changes the entire landscape of what we thought the Lakers were planning, I need to set the scene for you so you understand just how massive this revelation actually is. There's a specific detail that Pelinka accidentally revealed near the end of the interview that I'm saving for the finale because it absolutely confirms everything I'm about to break down. This isn't speculation, this isn't wishful thinking, this is coming directly from the mouth of the Lakers' general manager on national television. Stephen A. Smith started the segment by asking Pelinka about the Lakers' current situation, about whether they have enough to compete with the elite teams in the Western Conference, about what needs to change for this team to go from good to championship caliber, and Pelinka, to his credit, was handling everything perfectly at first. He talked about the growth of the young players, about the chemistry they've built, about how the team has exceeded expectations in certain areas, standard stuff you'd expect from a general manager trying to keep his cards close to his vest. But then Shannon Sharpe jumped in with a question that completely changed the direction of the entire interview. He asked Pelinka directly about the Lakers' offensive limitations, about how they've struggled at times to score in half-court situations, about whether the current roster construction gives them enough firepower to beat the best teams in the league when it matters most. And this is where Pelinka started to get uncomfortable, where you could see him choosing his words very carefully, where the body language shifted just enough to tell you that Shannon had hit on something real. Pelinka talked about the need for another elite scorer, about how the Lakers have been searching for that player who can create his own shot consistently, who can take pressure off LeBron James, who can be the difference maker in close playoff games. He mentioned specifically that they've been doing extensive work on players who fit a certain profile, players with playoff experience, players who have shown they can perform when the lights are brightest, players who can score from all 3 levels of the floor. And the more he talked, the more obvious it became who he was describing. Donovan Mitchell to the Los Angeles Lakers is happening. I'm telling you right now, based on everything Pelinka said on First Take this morning, the Lakers have identified Mitchell as the missing piece that transforms them from a playoff team into a legitimate championship contender. And when you hear the full breakdown of why this makes sense and what Pelinka accidentally revealed about the conversations that have been happening behind the scenes, you're going to understand why this is the biggest story in the NBA right now. Let me break this down for you because the fit here is absolutely perfect, and I don't think people fully appreciate just how much Donovan Mitchell would change things for the Lakers. Think about what the Lakers' biggest problems have been over the past few seasons. They struggle to score in half-court situations. They don't have enough shot creation outside of LeBron. They need someone who can get buckets in isolation when the offense breaks down. They need a closer who can take and make big shots in crunch time. Donovan Mitchell checks every single one of those boxes. When you watch the Lakers play, especially in big games, you see the limitations. They're reliant on transition opportunities, on LeBron creating everything offensively, on Anthony Davis dominating in the paint. But when teams slow the game down, when they take away the transition opportunities, when they pack the paint against AD, the Lakers' offense can become stagnant. They need someone who can just go get a bucket when nothing else is working, and that's exactly what Mitchell does better than almost anyone in the league. Now here's where I need you to pay very close attention, because Pelinka said something during this interview that I think was meant to be vague, but actually revealed a lot more than he intended. When Stephen A. pressed him about specific targets, about whether the Lakers have identified players they're pursuing. Pelinka smiled this knowing smile and said that in today's NBA, when you have the opportunity to add an elite scorer who's still in his prime, you do whatever it takes to make it happen. He said the Lakers understand their window with LeBron, understand that every season matters, and that they're prepared to be aggressive. Think about what he's saying there. He's describing Donovan Mitchell without saying the name. An elite scorer in his prime? Check. Mitchell is putting up over 25 points per game and is one of the most prolific scorers in the league. A player who fits the championship window? Absolutely check. Mitchell has playoff experience and has shown he can elevate his game in big moments. A target worth being aggressive for? 100% check. The LeBron James dynamic here is crucial, and I want to spend some time on this because it's really what makes this potential move so exciting. LeBron is 39 years old, he's still playing at an incredibly high level, but we've seen over the years that when he's asked to carry too much of the offensive burden, it wears on him, especially in the playoffs. Having a player like Mitchell alongside him would change everything because suddenly defenses can't just load up on LeBron, can't just make him the sole focus of their game plan. Imagine how opposing teams would have to defend a LeBron-Mitchell pick and roll. Do you stay home on Mitchell and let LeBron attack downhill? Do you help on LeBron and leave Mitchell open for the pull-up jumper? Do you try to switch everything and hope your defenders can hold up? There are no good answers because both guys can beat you in so many different ways. This is the kind of offensive versatility that championship teams have, the kind of two-man game that creates constant pressure on the defense. And here's where I'm gonna drop a little hint about what Pelinka revealed at the end of the interview, because this is the part that absolutely blew my mind. There's a specific detail about the timeline of this potential acquisition that suggests this is much further along than anyone realizes. But I'm gonna save that for later, because I want you to understand the full scope of why this move makes sense first. The scoring load distribution is something the Lakers have been trying to figure out for years. When they won the championship in the bubble, they had Anthony Davis playing at an MVP level, which took a lot of pressure off LeBron. Since then, AD has dealt with injuries, has had inconsistent stretches, has sometimes disappeared in big moments. The Lakers need another reliable scorer who can consistently give them 25+ points per game. And that's not AD's game, that's Mitchell's game. That's what he does every single night. Mitchell's ability to create his own shot is elite. He can pull up from 3 off the dribble, he can get to the rim and finish through contact, he can create separation with his footwork and hit mid-range jumpers. He doesn't need plays run for him, he doesn't need screens to get open, he can just go get buckets. For a Lakers offense that sometimes struggles to create good looks in the half court, that kind of self-creation is invaluable. Shannon Sharpe brought up an interesting point during the interview that I want to address because I think it's something a lot of Lakers fans are going to be thinking about. He asked Pelinka about the defensive concerns, about whether adding Mitchell would hurt the Lakers on that end of the floor. And Pelinka's response was fascinating because he talked about the trade-offs you make when building a championship team, about how sometimes you have to sacrifice something to gain something more valuable. He said the Lakers believe that the offensive boost Mitchell would provide would more than offset any defensive concerns. He talked about how having 3 elite offensive players in LeBron, AD, and potentially Mitchell would put so much pressure on opposing defenses that the Lakers wouldn't need to be perfect defensively. He said the best defense is a good offense, that making teams play from behind, that forcing them to match your scoring output is a form of defense in itself. Now, I don't necessarily agree with all of that. Defensive concerns are real and something the Lakers would need to address, but the point is that Pelinka has clearly thought about this, has clearly weighed the pros and cons, has clearly decided that Mitchell is worth pursuing despite any limitations on the defensive end. This isn't a casual exploration, this is a targeted acquisition that the Lakers front office has put serious thought into. The championship window aspect cannot be overstated. LeBron James is not going to play forever. The Lakers have maybe 2 or 3 more seasons where they can realistically compete for a title with LeBron as a primary contributor. Every year matters, every move matters, every opportunity to add an elite player matters. If the Lakers have a chance to add Donovan Mitchell and they don't take it, they might not get another opportunity like this. Let me paint a picture for you of what this Lakers team would look like with Mitchell in the fold. You've got LeBron running the point, orchestrating the offense, finding open shooters, attacking when the defense gives him an opening. You've got AD in the post, in the pick and roll, on the offensive glass, demanding attention in the paint, and you've got Mitchell on the wing, ready to attack closeouts, ready to pull up from three, ready to get to his spots and score over smaller defenders. That's a three-headed monster that no defense in the league can consistently stop. The spacing implications are huge. With Mitchell's three-point shooting, defenses can't pack the paint against AD the way they want to. They can't double LeBron in the post because Mitchell will make them pay. They can't play drop coverage in the pick and roll because Mitchell will pull up and splash threes all night. Everything opens up offensively when you add a scorer of Mitchell's caliber. Stephen A. asked Pelinka about the financial considerations, about how the Lakers would make the money work to acquire a player of Mitchell's caliber. And Pelinka, while being careful not to reveal too much, talked about flexibility, about creative deal-making, about how when you have the opportunity to add a transformational player, you find ways to make it work. He mentioned the Lakers have been positioning themselves for exactly this kind of opportunity, that the moves they've made over the past couple of years have been with an eye toward having the ability to make a big swing when the right player becomes available. This tells me the Lakers aren't just dreaming about Mitchell, they've been planning for this. They've been making decisions with this exact scenario in mind, building flexibility into their cap structure, acquiring assets that could be used in a trade. This is calculated, this is deliberate, this is the Lakers front office executing a long-term plan that's now coming to fruition. The transition to the post-LeBron era is something the Lakers have to think about, and Mitchell addresses that concern as well. He's 28 years old, still firmly in his prime, with many elite years ahead of him. When LeBron eventually retires or moves on, Mitchell could be the centerpiece of the next Lakers contender. You're not just acquiring a player for the next 2 or 3 years, you're potentially acquiring the face of the franchise for the next decade. Now here's where things get really interesting, and this is the part I've been holding on to because it absolutely confirms everything I've been telling you. At the very end of the interview, Molly asked Pelinka what gives him the most confidence heading into the offseason. And Pelinka, with this look on his face that told you he knew more than he was saying, talked about the conversations they've been having, about the relationships they've built, about how when players want to win championships, Los Angeles is always going to be an attractive destination. And then he said something that made my jaw drop. He said the Lakers have been in dialogue with representatives of several players who fit their profile, and that some of those conversations have reached a point where they're discussing specifics, not just generalities. He said the Lakers are closer to making something happen than people might think, and that fans should be excited about what's coming. Discussing specifics. Closer than people think, fans should be excited. Those are his exact words. And when you combine that with everything else he said about elite scorers, about championship windows, about being aggressive, there's really only one conclusion to draw. The Lakers and Donovan Mitchell are in serious talks, and a deal could be imminent. The playoff experience Mitchell brings is exactly what the Lakers need. He's been to the conference finals, he's played in high-pressure games, he's performed when it matters most. The famous series against Denver where he went toe-to-toe with Jamal Murray, trading haymakers in one of the greatest playoff series in recent memory, showed exactly what Mitchell is capable of when the stage is biggest. That's the kind of player who thrives in Los Angeles, who embraces the spotlight, who wants the ball in crunch time. Think about how this changes the Lakers in close games. Right now, when it's winning time, the Lakers are relying on LeBron to make something happen, or hoping AD can get a good look in the post, or praying that Austin Reeves can create something off the dribble. With Mitchell, they have another legitimate go-to option, another player who defenses have to account for, another closer who can hit big shots. The pressure gets distributed, the options multiply, the offense becomes significantly harder to guard. The fit with Anthony Davis is intriguing too. Davis is at his best when he doesn't have to be the primary offensive option, when he can pick and choose his spots, when he can dominate inside without forcing things. With Mitchell demanding defensive attention on the perimeter, AD would get easier looks at the rim, would face less crowded paint, would have more space to operate. It's a symbiotic relationship where both players make each other better. I want to address the chemistry concerns because I know some people are going to bring this up. How do you fit 3 stars on one team? How do you make sure everyone gets enough touches? How do you avoid the ego issues that have plagued other super teams? The answer is that you need players who are willing to sacrifice, who understand their roles, who prioritize winning over individual statistics. Based on everything we know about LeBron, he's always been willing to defer when it helps the team win. Based on Mitchell's comments about wanting to win championships, about being tired of early playoff exits, he seems ready to embrace a different role if it means competing for titles. The Lakers have been building toward this moment for years. The championship in 2020 proved they know how to construct a winning team. The struggles since then have been largely due to injuries and roster construction issues that prevented them from replicating that success. Adding Mitchell would be the biggest move they've made since trading for Anthony Davis, and it would signal that the Lakers are serious about maximizing the final years of LeBron's career. Now I'm going to reveal the final piece of information that I've been saving, the detail that absolutely confirms this is happening. When the interview was wrapping up, Stephen A asked Pelinka one more question about the timeline for any potential moves, about when Lakers fans might see something concrete, and Pelinka said something that sent shockwaves through the NBA community. He said the Lakers are not waiting until the offseason to make things happen, that conversations are ongoing right now, and that decisions will be made in the near future, not waiting until the offseason. Conversations ongoing right now. Decisions in the near future. This tells me that Donovan Mitchell to the Los Angeles Lakers isn't just a possibility, it's an inevitability. The Lakers have identified their target, they've engaged in serious discussions, and they're prepared to pull the trigger. The only question is when the announcement comes, not if. This is going to completely change the landscape of the Western Conference. A Lakers team with LeBron, Mitchell, and AD would immediately become the favorites to come out of the West. The Thunder would have to account for them, the Nuggets would have to game plan differently, every team's championship odds would shift. This is the kind of move that doesn't just change one franchise, it changes the entire league. Keep your eyes on this story because I'm telling you, based on everything Rob Pelinka said and didn't say on First Take this morning, Donovan Mitchell in a Lakers uniform is coming. The fit is perfect, the timing is right, the conversations are happening, and the Lakers are ready to make their move. Remember where you heard it first.